Okay, I'm starting this early. I don't know why my thing is not in full screen. It's being a little strange today. Hey Bill. So yeah, for some reason my webcam is just giving me issues with being in full screen today. So I'm sorry that we're gonna be in a tighter view today. But you know what? As far as technical difficulties go, is not the worst one to deal with. So yeah, whatever. We're gonna leave it as is. I don't want to keep messing with it. Hey OCJ, I was just saying I'm having weird dimensional issues right now with my webcam. It's OBS, or it's the webcam, or it's both. I don't know. But it's good to see you guys today. It's weird. I was typing in the thing this morning, the title for this video, and I was like, oh yeah, February live stream. And I was like, no, it's March. It's March 1st. I missed the February live stream technically. I cannot believe it's March already. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. It's a little bit of a new setup today. I have a wonderful new pop filter on my mic, so that's great. And I have a new setup for the webcam. So my monitor moved up and therefore my webcam moved up and it was like too high. So I have this like cool little thing that like clips to my desk so the webcam's more even. So, being fancy today. So we're going to be talking about the Black Spire book for a bit. And then, of course, as always, I'm going to be opening it up to general Disney discussion. We only ever talk about the book for about 15 minutes or so. So if you're coming here and you're like, I don't care about this book, don't worry. In like 15 minutes, we'll be talking about some other stuff. Hey, Damien, good to see you. Damien is over in California. He is a Disneyland AP holder and local, so it's good to see you. But I do want to give a couple minutes for more people to trickle in because I did start early. Technically, it's like a minute after 1 now. But Black Spire has been an interesting novel compared to the past ones that we've watched. Read. Oh my gosh, my brain is like, I was thinking about Disney Plus earlier. I'll get into that. Hey, Richard, good to see you. Excited that you can join the live stream. Happy that you're a podcast listener. Thank you. I know my last episode with Rob was a little sad because we'll talk about Bob too as well a little later today. But so we've been reading, and I don't have the dust jacket on it because I have to protect it when I commute. But you can probably see it here, Black Spire. Very different from the last two books because this is fiction instead of nonfiction, and reads a lot easier, I would say, than the past two books, which were Bob Iger's memoir and an Imagineer's memoir, basically, were the two other books. I have mixed feelings about this book. I'm enjoying it. It's a fun, light read. I feel like it's been a nice... it's just been nice to do after those two heavier books. But I have some issues with some of the plot in it. So if you guys don't know, I mean, it's obvious. It's called Black Spire. It is kind of the filler story behind the land. So it explains how the Resistance got there, how the First Order got there. It talks a little bit about the people, Ogas, and Savi, and all of that, to try to fill in, I guess, a backstory for Galaxy's Edge. So, like, if you're big on the land and you want to have that backstory, I would say definitely read it. It's good to have that context. It starts with, the main character is V, who is a walk-around character there. Actually, it's funny because I was just thinking to myself that I haven't actually seen her recently. And I'm wondering, is she still is she still a character that walks around? I feel like it's kind of weird because she comes from the novels. So I don't know if there's a disconnect of people not understanding who she is. But OCJ asks, is it a story or is it more jumping around? No, it's a story. It's a novel. So it's not like a guidebook. It's an actual novel. And the character is V. She's the one with the blue hair who walked around the land that you could meet. She is... with the Resistance. She gets sent by Leia, General Leia, at this time, to find an outpost for the Resistance where they could be safe, in a place where the First Order would never look for them. And so Black Spire is on the edge of the galaxy, and so they decide that that would be the safest place. This is after several attacks have happened. They're expecting another big attack. I'm pretty sure this takes place after episode 8 because they reference things that happened in episode 8. Good morning, my Disney Park memories. Great to see you. So it's actually between episode 8, episode 9. And so she sends V out there. We get a little context that in V's last experience, she's a spy, and in her last mission, she was captured by a First Order captain and she was tortured. And then they go, surprise, the person that you're going to Black Spire with is the guy who tortured you. But don't worry, we've rehabilitated him. And now he goes by this other name like Aphex or something like that. Or is that, am I even right? I'm probably making this up. Now I gotta look up his name. He was known as Cardinal, Captain Cardinal. But then when Archex, I called him Aphex. Archex, is his regular name. And I was so turned off by that it was just okay, now he's just rehabilitated and you need to work with the guy who tortured you, who caused PTSD, who has caused you to not be able to be a spy and has you on this simpler mission. And it's weird. It's just all of a sudden she's yeah, I can see he has a good heart and he could really be a part of the Resistance. And I'm over here yo, if this guy tortured me, I would not be so accepting, or I wouldn't even trust that he was actually rehabilitated. It's very strange. It's a very strange relationship and a strange, yes, Cardinal from the Phasma book, OCJ, yes. So I didn't read the Phasma book, but I do know that it is the same Cardinal. Yes, Cardinal who's against Phasma, right? He fights her at some point, or at least that's referenced here. It's weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Other than that, it's definitely a fun read. You hear a bit about areas outside of the outpost and what's supposed to be on the planet in Batu, which is interesting. And it does feel a little oh, we know you know the land, so we're gonna throw in the mention of Oga's Cantina over and over and over again, and we're going to throw in Savi's workshop over and over and over again. V actually gets a job at Savi's because their ship crashes, so they get raided, so they don't have any money, and so it does feel it's sort of really reinforcing hey, these are real places you can go in the parks, so we're just going to keep mentioning it. But it's interesting. Savi is painted as someone who believes in the Force and is actually a pretty good guy and kind of believes in what's happening with the Resistance. And Oga is, yes, we know that she is not the greatest person in the world, but she's also doing what she thinks is the right way to take care of Black Spire. She does run a gang, basically, but she kind of keeps Black Spire in its place. She's not fond of the First Order or anything, so you do get these backstories of the people that you hear about and run into on Galaxy's Edge. The reason First Order ends up there is obviously somebody tipped them off. That's pretty much it. So they do end up coming. They do know that Cardinal / Archex is there as well. And of course they want to go get him because they're pissed that he turned against them. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through the book. It's a pretty quick read. Normally we do these live streams at the halfway point, but I feel like everyone's been reading it pretty quickly. Yeah, definitely a quick read. I feel like the review will probably go up next week, my full book review that I always do. It's good. It's a fun read. But again, I have some issue with V and Aphex all of a sudden being besties after he tortured her. And I wish it was a little bit deeper. You can tell it's just kind of more of a light read. I crave books that have a little bit more deeper detail, especially with certain scenes and stuff, and I feel like that's lacking a little bit, but I think it's fun to read after I've been to Galaxy's Edge, because this actually came out, if I'm not mistaken, this came out before Galaxy's Edge opened. And so people had like some context beforehand, but I think it's fun to read after you've been there, because I think it's like fun to be like, yeah, I know that place and I can picture it in my mind, you know, like I can picture the marketplace. They even go to like was it the Ronto Roasters or whatever? And like it's so funny that you're just like, oh my god, like they're just calling out every single place that you can go to in the parks. But I like it. Again, it's been a nice light read in between. So yeah, expect the review in the next week. I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say about the weird relationship between V and her ex-captor. So weird. But Twixie Shore says the synergy must flow. If any of you guys are reading it currently, I would love to know in the comments like what you're thinking of it so far, if you have read it. It's pretty good though. I had to read Phasma. The last one that I read was, oh my gosh, I'm already blanking on what it was again, because I was talking about it in Discord. It was specifically about Princess Leia, and like when she was first acting as running the resistance and stuff. But I haven't watched, I keep saying watch. I haven't read too many of the newer Star Wars novels. So I do need to like catch up on a lot of them. And I heard the Phasma one was really good. CJ says, we need to work at Savi's workshop where you can buy a $200 lightsaber so we can get money to buy a droid. Available in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I mean, yeah, it's not that, whatever, but it almost is. It almost is. Andy says, I second the I've been there so I can imagine now while reading the book. Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely, like, I would recommend this after you've been to Galaxy's Edge, because you just have that in your mind of what it all looks like, which is really cool. They also do reference, it's funny because this was written before Rise of the Resistance opened, but they reference how like she's like, oh yeah, there's these caves that are dangerous, that are old and ancient, that we need to turn into our secret base. And then I think about how like when you're in the queue of Rise of the Resistance, no spoilers here because it's not the actual experience, like you go through these caves that are ancient caves and you can like see remnants of an old, like relics and an ancient race that was there. So I think it's actually really interesting that it's mentioned in here. And this is obviously Rise of the Resistance was being created. We knew that already, right? But like, it's fun to read that and know, oh, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, the Traveling Soldier, you are not that late. We were just talking a little bit about the book that we've been reading for the book club, but you were not late at all. I'm looking at my time here. It is 1:11. It's not late to me. I think if you're inside 15 minutes, even when you're meeting up with people, you're fine. 15 minutes. I think, a lot of it has to do with growing up in New York and not having a reliable subway. So 15 minutes is always not late to me. I'm looking at, hold on one second, guys. I'm just trying to see what's up. We've got a little bit of a weird... My live stream health is not as good as it normally is, which is strange because I am plugged directly into my Ethernet. So hopefully that's not too much of a problem on your guys' end. But YouTube is yelling at me that it's not that great. So yeah, I think it's worth the read. So yeah, review coming up. Every time I do a review, I also give away my physical copy of the book. So if one of you guys in here hasn't read it yet and you want to read it, definitely check out the review, because I pick people from the comments to win the copy that I have, because I don't really believe in holding on to my books. I'm not one of those people who likes to like constantly have books around. So if you want to read it, definitely check out the review and leave a comment. There's so much stuff that went on today. This week. I'm sure you guys listened to the podcast, so you've probably heard us talk about a lot of the news. We know the big news was Bob. Gosh, I'm still sad. That is still, it's just a crazy thing to like wrap my brain around, because it did happen so fast. I don't think any of us were prepared for that. Everyone knew he was leaving. Nobody knew he was leaving like Tuesday, but I think we're not going to see a lot of Bob Chapek's influence on the greater parts of Disney for a bit, because it feels like Bob Iger had a lot of things in play that haven't even fleshed out yet, right? And even like, in terms of entertainment, in terms of a lot of stuff going on. So I feel like it could be a number of years before we actually really see like Bob Chapek's decisions and influence on things. I know how everyone feels about him. I agree that I don't love everything he's done with the parks. I want to give him a chance. That's kind of where I mean, it is what it is, right? We can't like have an uprising and demand a new CEO. So, I mean, maybe we could. I don't know. There's a lot of us. But I'm willing to give the man a chance and see what happens. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like every CEO has their ups and downs. I hope that he can have an upward trajectory soon. OCJ says, wait, do you and Rob plan to do more Imagineering for Dummies? Is probably one of my favorite segments and a big part of one of my favorite episodes. We're talking about on the podcast. It's funny. We used to do Imagineering for Dummies was actually a video series that we did way back, and then we put it into podcast form. We definitely would like to do more of it because it's really fun. I really enjoyed what we did in the episode where we timed ourselves because it like forced us to just come up with ridiculous ideas as fast as possible. So we'll definitely be doing that again. Like we had so much fun. We did it to Marvel. We had so much fun doing it that I see us doing it again for sure. My Disney Park memory says, cross your fingers about Bob Chapek. Twixie Shores says, I'm personally wondering how much was on Chapek and how much was Iger. In terms of past, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we don't, Rob said it in our last podcast. It's not like we have another Disney War or something that's going to tell us who made what decisions, like Disney War book. That's something we might not know for a while. And so it's also very possible that maybe Bob Chapek has made decisions we like and we just like attribute it to Bob Iger. Who knows? So we're in the situation now. I'm going to give him a chance, but I miss Bob Iger. So I don't know. I guess I'm still curious about the reasons why. Everyone had like speculations he was sick. He was not sick. He's fine. People had speculations he was running for president, but he's not. And also it'd be really late in the game for him to jump into that race. So who knows? Maybe he was just ready. Maybe he was just ready sooner than later. David Locke, welcome, says, have you ever considered joining DVC? Somebody else asked me this recently. I think it is, I don't know if it's worth it for me. And the reason I say that is because right now I go as a solo guest. If my husband was into Disney, then maybe, because it would make sense for the two of us to invest that kind of money if we were going down a lot. But he doesn't really like to go, and we don't have kids yet. And like right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense cost-wise. Like it would be so expensive for a solo traveler to do. I have thought about renting DVC points because it's actually a much cheaper way to get into some of the deluxe resorts. But of course, if you rent DVC points to be able to do it, I'm sorry guys, my nose is so itchy. I keep doing this because it's so itchy. I was with dogs yesterday. I'm allergic to dogs, so it's like still bothering me. What I was saying was I would like to rent DVC points because it makes it much cheaper, but you have to do this like 11 months out. So it's like one of those things where you have to like plan your trip really, really far out. And I rarely ever do that. So I don't know. Yeah. And I also now get to stay at the RVC, which is the Raw Vacation Club. So the Traveling Soldier says, do you think Iger stepped down because the coronavirus scare on top of bad return on movies? Also, does the virus scare you? That's a big question. So people are speculating that's part of the reason they wanted to step out before stock prices dropped, and so it didn't look like it was on him. I don't know, maybe. Does it scare me? I am informed. I've been following what's going on. I feel like right now in the US, we don't really need to panic yet. Granted, I'm sure we are going to see more cases. I think that is inevitable. I'm a little worried because I work in and live just outside of New York City. We have 9 million people. I mean, it's one of those things where like when people get the flu in the city, everyone's got the freaking flu because we're all on the subway, we're all on the trains, we're all in tight quarters with each other. So I'm a little concerned about how quickly it could spread in the city. But at the same time, I don't think panicking is worth it. I still am sticking with my travel plans right now. I think you just need to be prepared. Like, we were like, hey, we should have some extra water and food in the house. We should have that anyway. Like, for blackouts or for, we got hit by Hurricane Sandy like so many years ago. Like, that should just be something everyone has. Just take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Don't cough on people. Stay away from people coughing. I mean, there's nothing that we can really do otherwise, right? So panicking isn't going to help us. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Damien says, who do you think is going to take over responsibilities of the park since Chapek is taking the CEO position? I don't know. That's a really good question. And that's what I'm more interested in. Everyone's focusing on Chapek being CEO. Yes, huge news. But who's going to take over parks and what changes are they going to make? And is it going to be more positive? I'm really interested in seeing what happens there. OCJ says, if Bob Iger ran for president, we could finally get Disney's America. I thought to myself, oh my God, if Bob Iger ran, would all the Disney fans just vote for him? Maybe not necessarily, but it'd be really interesting to see if that happened. Twixie Shores says, former SSR CM, DVC is worth it only if you plan on committing to Disney trips in the next 50 years. Yeah, I mean, it's expensive. And I know people who do it because they have multiple generations that go, like their grandparents go, and then they go, and their kids go, and they assume that they'll pass it on to their kids. Like, I think that makes sense in that context, but Damien Does Disney says, I saw the Magic Happens parade yesterday, and it is amazing. I watched a video of it. I really like it. It definitely feels different from a typical Disney parade. The music, the choreography, the music kind of changes halfway through. It's interesting that they go off. Instead of it being the same musical theme throughout the whole parade, it actually changes. I did see some people didn't like it for those reasons, but I thought it was new and fun, and it feels like it fits Disneyland really well. I don't ever see it coming to Disney World. I don't know. It just feels like Disneyland has always had that more local, contemporary California vibe, and I don't know if Disney World would ever see something like that. But you know what? It'd be great if Disney World got a parade for nighttime. Nighttime. That was right how I said that. Nighttime. We would like something new, guys. Please. Why is Disneyland getting everything? Richard says, going to Disneyland next week, do you know if people are having the same challenge as Disney World with getting boarding passes, like needing to get it within a minute of park opening? Damien, who's local on here, can probably help. So Damien, if you have an answer to that, that would be great. As far as I know, yes. Damien was actually saying the other day, you just went, right? Didn't you go again yesterday for Rise? And he was saying that strangers were banding together to get groups together, which is hilarious. There you go. He says, yes, you need to be inside the park by 8. So yes, it sounds like it's just as difficult. I would not assume that different park, different, sort of system. It's really interesting that this is still happening, that they're still doing boarding groups. I guess they still will be in April when I'm down there. That's what I'm planning for. I wonder if it will change, if it will ever change. I don't know. It's been interesting. I thought they were going to be doing this for 6 weeks or 2 months, and that was going to be it. But it seems like they're going to keep continuing with it. OCJ says, to feel like attractions more like... Do you feel like attractions more like Rise of the Resistance is the future of Disney dark rides? I hope so, because, look, it's a lot of money and it's a lot of time, and you got to hire a lot of people, right? Because you have these people who are basically actors in the ride. But I think for the right IPs, it makes it, I would love something that, to that extent, for Marvel, right? I don't know what they're playing for Marvel Land right now, in terms of, what the actual attraction is going to be like. But it would be awesome if it was something like this. I think in certain IPs, it makes a lot of sense. Do I need a super immersive Snow White ride? Probably not. But for things like Star Wars, Marvel, even some of the more recent Disney films, I could see it happening. Let's see. Damien says, yes, I went yesterday, got group 55, and it broke down when I got on. Oh, no. Did you end up riding it, though? Did you wait it out? Were you able to ride it? I think the problem with Rise having so many moving parts and so many things going on and so much technology is, it is going to have breakdowns, and that could be one element of like all the different elements that can do that. So I feel like there's almost more risk of the whole thing going down. Bill says, what are you looking forward to on your upcoming trip to Disney World? I'm still in the midst of planning. I might actually do a part 2 on the planning video that I did because, as I said before, I was only able to do fast passes for half. I'm staying half my time at one of the All-Stars. I want to say it was sports. And then the first half I'm staying with Rob. And because that first half I'm off property, I can't do fast passes 60 days out. So I'm waiting to the 30-day for that. So I don't even have my full thing planned out. I am going back and forth with the possibility of doing the what is it called? The African Check in Animal Kingdom. Which is that tour where you get to walk across the bridges above the safari. It's kind of expensive, but fortunately we have a nice big tax refund coming soon. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to take a little part of that and treat myself. So I might be doing that. I'm thinking about doing that one morning. And I'm thinking also about going to this new Cirque du Soleil show. So if I do those two, that would be really, really fun. And then I'm also building a lightsaber. That's happening. I already have my thing. Rob's coming with me. He's going to film it. I don't even know what it looks like. I've never watched videos of the lightsaber ceremony. I'm probably going to cry. It's going to be the best. I'm totally making a Sith lightsaber. I'm saying it right here and now. Shouldn't be a surprise, guys. So yeah, just a lot of fun things that I'm trying to plan for this trip. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's crazy. And then Peter, my husband, who knows nothing about Disney and doesn't really like Disney, is planning an entire day for me. So the way we're going to do that is one weekend soon, he's going to sit with Rob. I'm going to send him up here to record his screen and like his research and what he's talking about, which is probably going to be ridiculous. And then Rob is going to be like kind of guiding him just to make sure he doesn't pick something that doesn't make sense. Like he doesn't want him to like plan something out that like physically I can't do or whatever. And then he's going to give that plan to Rob. And so there's not going to be fast passes, and as far as I know, no reservations, because then I would see them come up, right? So I would already get a hint of what's happening. So this is like a no fast pass, no reservation day, which is crazy. And oh my God, as a type A planner worries me. And then he's going to pass that to Rob. And Rob's going to figure out, he doesn't know if he's going to give me the whole schedule for the day or if he's going to break it into envelopes. And so then I'll just like keep opening an envelope and then know what the next thing is. And then I'm going to vlog all of that. That's going to be like its own special vlog, and it's going to be absurd. Peter was like, can I make you ride Small World 10 times in a row? And I was like, you could, but then I'm going to divorce you because what a waste of my day to ride that ride a million times in a row. But I'm excited. I'm excited for him to do this with like no context of anything. It's going to be wild. So let's see. I'm trying to catch up on some of these. Damien does Disney City was able to ride it again after Rise broke down. They gave us a fast pass to ride again. The ride was perfect. Everything worked awesome. Oh my God. Hey, Callie. It's good to see you. First live chat I've been home to make. Hey, girl. Hey. We met last time I was down there. It was really fun. OCJ says, I wish you could pick white or yellow while you're building a lightsaber and not have to buy them after. It's bad for me that my two favorite lightsaber colors are locked behind a second paywall. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I understand why they do that, and it's literally for that, right? It's because they know they're going to make the money. But I agree. I wish you had more options. But I'm definitely making a red saber. I'm definitely picking the power and control parts. Like, I'm not even going to pretend. Though I think like what are the ones that have like the Rancor claw and stuff? I forget what the set is called. That actually looks really cool. I was looking at all the photos of all the options you have for the hilts and stuff, and like that looked really cool. Richard says, so a lot of standing in line for you. Oh, for my Peter Day. Maybe. I mean, I'm wondering if I will be allowed to, like, if I can see, like, the first few rides he plans, if I'd be allowed to try to just open up the app and get fast passes for them. Like, if there could be a little bit of that leeway, that would be good. And as a solo traveler, it is easier to get day of fast passes. We gotta work out the rules still. We're gonna work out the rules. It's gonna be really interesting. My Disney park memory says I'm doing the Rebel Challenge. Hope to cross paths with you, Rob, and Kat at the parks. Yeah, I mean, I'm running the 5K, the Rebel 5K, so I'm excited about that. Oh, duh, that's another thing that I'm looking forward to. I've never done any of the runs. I am not an early morning person, so that's going to be a really big struggle for me, honestly. And I struggle with, if I know I have to be in bed at a certain time because I have to wake up early, I can never sleep. So that is my biggest worry, is that I'm going to tell myself the night before, well, you got to get there at 4:30 in the morning. You should be in bed at, like, I don't know, 9 or something. And then I'm just going to be wide awake because that's what my brain likes to do to me. So I'm a little worried that I'm going to be on a struggle bus, but hopefully I can make it all work out. But I'm really excited for it. It's going to be super, super fun. And I love that you can meet all these, like, rare Star Wars characters. Like, it's such a unique running experience. And then I also might do the 5K in Castaway Key on the cruise in September, because why not? That looked really fun too. Jay Bauer, nice to see you, says I miss my Bobby. Me too. We were talking about him a little earlier. It's so funny how people are, like, so heartbroken over this. I mean, it's interesting. I think there's definitely, I feel like he was still kind of polarizing. There was definitely people who didn't like Bob Iger, but I did. I thought he was a pretty good CEO. Tristan Brown says, have you seen the preview of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I think you mean, right? Or are you trying to avoid all spoilers? I'm avoiding all spoilers. Kat, Rob's girlfriend, got to go for a cast member preview. She loved it. She thought it was really fun. The only thing I asked was, does Donald have, like, a cool or funny scene? Because I need to know if there's like a good Donald moment. And she said yes. So that's it. That's all I know. I do have some fast passes for the ride in April, so I'm excited. But I am gonna keep myself spoiler free. I kept myself spoiler free in Galaxy's Edge for months. So if I could do it for an entire land, I could do it for this. OCJ says, one time I found a fast pass for Flight of Passage a day before we planned to hit Animal Kingdom. It was a miracle for us. My last trip, I was in Animal Kingdom. You guys know I did a full day in that park because it's possible. It's a great park. Don't get me on my tangent. And sort of around 4 p.m., I refreshed and I got one for like 7:30. So you never know. Like, you just got to keep trying. People drop fast passes all the time. I say this all the time. People change their plans in the moment all the time, and you need to capitalize on it. Twixie Shore says, my therapist is going down to Disney for the first time since she was 5 to do the Dopey Challenge. Isn't that when they do all of them? Oh my, that's why they call it Dopey, right? Because, like, you're kind of dumb to run that much. I don't know. I could never. I mean, the other day, 2 days ago, I ran, I don't know, 4 miles, I think. And that's, like, the most I've run straight in, like, 2 years. Like, I'm just not, I will be the first to admit that I'm so bad at long distance running. So, oh God, I can't even think about doing a half marathon or a marathon. I mean, I think I could if I really trained to push myself, but I do not have that discipline, you guys. The Traveling Soldier says, what Disney property do you think Disney should add as a new land for maybe the standalone films? And I love that Bill answered Hunchback of Notre Dame. Don't get me started. I mean, that would basically be Paris, though, right? Like, you can't... It's hard to do a land around the movies that are in actual real places. Like, you can't be like, here's a Beauty and the Beast land. I mean, I guess you can. You kind of have the Beast Castle. It has to be, like, specific things. But Hunchback is hard because everything's real-life stuff. Like, you can't just have, like, a fake Notre Dame. You could, but why? I would do... Disney should add as a new land. I would love a Coco land. That would be cool. If you could cross over to the other side And oh, that would be awesome. Could you imagine having like a stage show with all the music, just like the concert that happens, and like seeing all the colorful like spirit guides? Oh, that's what I want. Give me a Coco Land. Tristan says, what land would you like to see come to Hollywood studios next? Marvel, like as soon as they can. I know they've got the stupid contract with Universal, but like ideally. Twixie Shore says, yeah, it's all of them for the Dopey Challenge. She's a super fit runner and all her vacations are for marathons. Bless her soul. I am not that person. OCJ says, I think an underrated time to go to Disney is late November. My family went on Thanksgiving, and the lines are pretty average. Well, I think Thanksgiving itself is quite... It's interesting because I'm pretty sure like the actual holidays... Thanksgiving doesn't get so bad because people like go to do family stuff on Thanksgiving, but it's like the surrounding days that are like awful, you know? But that's interesting. I mean, I really enjoyed my early December trip. It was not even for being the weekend Galaxy Rise of Resistance opened. That's where the crowds were. So, I mean, and they were there. It wasn't even like all over the rest of the park. Now, there was 1 or 2 crowded days, but for the most part, the weather was gorgeous. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Jay Power says, okay, this may sound crazy, but I was not a big fan of Animal Kingdom because of Dinoland. I totally understand. I thought it was super cheap and brought down the other areas. Then I learned the story and I love it. Nope, I still don't. Still don't love it. I actually did a video, an unpopular Disney opinion with Sean from Negroland, and he actually really likes Dinoland and believes in the story. And so if you guys want to watch that, I would check that out. I am not fully convinced, but I did promise him that the next time I'm down, I will take the time to look at more of the details and like the stores and stuff. I'm gonna give it a little bit more of a chance. Mario LaGuardia says, I've gone around Thanksgiving a few different times and the lines are pretty average for me too, not too bad. It's good to know. Now I'm like, can I make that work? I've never been during my birth month, which is November, and I want to do a birthday trip, so maybe that's the time to go. OCJ says, no matter how much story Dinoland has, I will never enjoy anything in it beside Dinosaur. Same. Preach. That is exactly how I feel. Dinosaur is fantastic, but the rest of that land is just like, why? Why? Yeah, I don't understand it. The other rides are terrible. I'm not into the whole, like, janky boardwalk-esque thing. No, I'm not. No. But I will say Animal Kingdom can be a full-day park if you want it to be, but not there. Oh, my gosh. Even in the full day that I was there, I'm pretty sure I spent 10 minutes of it in Dinoland, USA. To me, it's like that land almost doesn't even exist in a way. Tristan says, what are your thoughts of the Mary Poppins attraction coming to Epcot? I feel like it's been blown by the other stuff coming to Epcot. Oh, like people are kind of forgetting about it. I'm excited. I didn't love the new Mary Poppins, I'm not going to lie. I thought it was fine. It was a fine movie. But I didn't love it the way that I loved the original. And so if it leans more towards that, I don't know how I really feel about it. But I'm excited that something Mary Poppins like that is coming. I think it's like far overdue. It's kind of like Mickey and Mickey's Runaway Railway, right? Like to be like a Mickey Mouse ride is just so overdue. And I think having something Mary Poppins is overdue. And I love that they're expanding the area to have Cherry Tree Lane. And yeah, I'm willing to see what it's going to be. I just hope it isn't like too much into the new movie. It might be though, because a lot of the younger generation is like growing up with that one now, right? But yeah, I feel like in terms of all the other new stuff coming to Epcot, people haven't been talking about it much, which is interesting. I'm also really excited about the expansion of France. Like I told you guys, I didn't love Ratatouille when I rode it in Disneyland Paris. I think it's a fine ride, but I'm more excited for the new restaurant, the new little dessert place, and just that whole pavilion being bigger. I think it deserves to be a little bit bigger, so that's going to be really interesting. Hero says, I'm waiting for a Tangled ride in Germany. They have an empty show building that has been there since Epcot opened. That would be dope. I love Tangled. I'm the whole Tangled versus Frozen camp. I am Team Tangled. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it didn't get enough love. I would love to see a Tangled ride. That would be so much fun. I saw the live action Aladdin for the first time last night. Thought it was kind of long, but pretty entertaining. Did you see it? And if so, what did you think of it? I will be the first to admit that I've sort of avoided a lot of the live action remakes. I want to watch them. I feel like I need to mentally prepare myself. And look, I love Will Smith. I am one of those people who absolutely adores that man. I know, like, it's weird because he was really popular for a time, and then it became really cool to make fun of Will Smith. And granted, not everything he's done has been great. This is true. But I love him. He seems like just such a genuinely good, fun guy. So I was happy to hear he was the genie. I want to see him as the genie. But I don't know. I feel like I need to just like mentally be like, okay, this might not be the original, but that's okay. And I could just sit there and watch it. Because I haven't watched The Lion King either. Though, admittedly, I heard Aladdin's better. I heard the remake of The Lion King, despite having a strong cast, is kind of like boring. Because it's just the exact same movie. But like, without the charm. That's what I've heard. I am really excited for Mulan, though. That feels like it's going in a different direction. I'm excited for it. OCJ says, I've made Animal Kingdom a full day park. All you need to do is eat, do some rides, and watch the animals. My family spent a good amount of time just watching and looking at the animals. Agreed. People bypass, people get into the park and they go one of two ways up those paths, and they bypass the whole middle area that has a bunch of animals. And like, look, if animals are not your jam, which is weird to me because animals are awesome, but if they're not your jam, I get it. Then maybe it wouldn't be a full day park. But like, I think people miss out on so much good stuff that happens in and around the park and with all the animals and stuff. Oh my gosh, wait, I just missed a bunch of things. Richard says, Dinoland reminds me of the cheap traveling carnivals that's set up for the weekends on the vacant Kmart parking lot. Not really Disney's best effort. Yeah, same. I mean, there was a traveling carnival that used to come to Queens every year. They would go in the parking lot of like the racing track that we have way out there. And I went as, a teenager because for some reason, tempting fate on crazy rides sounded like a good idea when I was 16. But I don't need that as like a theme in a Disney park. Damien Does Disney says, I think I might upset you, but Indiana Jones is better than Dinosaur. Indiana Jones is a fantastic ride. It is not better than Dinosaur, though. Sorry. I can't agree there. Hero says, personally, I want Dinoland rethemed to South America and bring in some new animals to the Animal Kingdom. Change Dinosaur to an Indiana Jones ride set in South America. That'd be awesome. Oh, I would love South American food in Animal Kingdom. I love South American food. You just, like, you put that in my brain. I'm like, I need a place where I can get a bunch of different kinds of arepas. Like, come on, let's do it. Let's do it, Disney. I'm totally down with this. New Bob, hire Hero, because he's got great ideas. Jay Bauer says, do you like Bobby or Eisner more? Eisner is pre-94. Eisner was what I grew up with. So I always saw him on TV introducing the next movie when they would show the Disney movies on TV. He's the one who brought about Alien Encounter, which is like my favorite ride ever. It's interesting because there's like a nostalgia for me for that era, but I did really like Iger. I think Iger was a little more level-headed in some of his decisions, which maybe makes it a little less exciting. But I don't know. That's a hard one. I think I like both, just in different sort of ways. I'm not saying that, DL. I see. You're just trying to make me say French words I can't say. Oh my God, I had the funniest experience yesterday. We went out to dinner, and on the menu was lobster bourguignon. That's how I'm going to say it. And I turned to Peter and I said, how do you say this word? He couldn't say it either. He tried 6 times. He couldn't say it. So, not just me. Tristan Brown says, your thoughts on the Skyliner, should expand to other places? Yes. I love the Skyliner. I think it's awesome. It's such a cool other way to see things in the parks and see above the parks and see backstage, which is kind of cool. And it's really like soothing, calming ride. As far as I've experienced, it worked really well. Epcot to Hollywood Studios was really easy. I would love to see it expand, definitely, especially because we have so many issues with the monorail. I think it is time to expand the Skyliner and make up for that a little bit. Mario says, is Disney still making a live action Hunchback, or did they abandon that idea? As far as I know, it's still like in the plans. I think the plan is that it's kind of far out. You know how Disney plans their movies like 4 years in advance. I don't think we're going to see it probably till like, I'm going to take a random stab. Say 2022. 2022, 2023 is when we'll see it. I hope that they do it, but I'm nervous about it. I don't know. OCJ says, what do you think will happen to Stitch's Great Escape building? I don't know. I wish they would pull like a Captain EO and just bring Alien Counter back for like a year. That'd be dope. I think it could work now. I feel like it was kind of scary back then. I mean, it's still scary. But like, I think people would embrace it more now. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting because like they are kind of, now we've got Tron coming in. And I think Tomorrowland could really use a revamp with the kind of attractions that it has to like fit the theming that they originally intended a little bit better. So I don't know. It's also a unique space. So would they gut the whole thing and totally change it up? Would it still be like a circular theater sort of thing? I don't know. Twixie Shore says, I'm torn on Iger. He oversaw the two best lands of the park and the Disney Springs reimagination, but we got basically nothing up until then. Yeah, I guess that's true, but man, has there been a ton of stuff since then, you know? So I agree though. Opposed to Eisner, who gave us everything, both good and bad. But that's the thing, right? Do we need everything if it means that there's some bad in it? Or would you rather just have less than the good stuff? Because that's how I see it. Quality over quantity, right? Jay Bauer says, yeah, I don't know who I would choose as a better CEO. Bob played it more safe. And I think that's fine because it was successful for him, right? He wasn't really trying to rock the boat. I think it's interesting. I think like every CEO is going to have a different sort of take on it. I think it'd be interesting to have someone who's going to rock the boat. I worry that Chapek's going to rock the boat in the wrong way, but we'll see. No pun intended, because, you know, Jungle Cruise boat sunk this week. God, a lot of crazy things happened this week. I'm just checking the time, about 15 more minutes, just letting you guys know. Let's see. Hero says, what Fox IP outside of Avatar do you expect to see first in the Disney parks? Well, it can't be The Simpsons because Universal still has them. I joke that I want a Buffy land, but that'll never happen. God, it's funny when you say Fox IP and I blank because when I think of Fox, I don't. It's hard for me to like know which IPs they have. Is that a strange thing to say? But that's kind of how I feel. Like they don't have quintessential IPs except for like Simpsons to me that you think of. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'll have to keep thinking. Damien Does Disney says, Eisner was good, but Iger saved California Adventure. Agreed. Yeah. I like how in the Imagineering story they were just totally honest about California Adventure in the beginning. And it was so fascinating to see all that because I've never been, the first time I went to Disneyland was 2015. So it was well after all of that. And so to see all of that was like really, really fascinating. Tristan Brown says, would you like to see Jungle Book or a Lion King ride come to Animal Kingdom? I think they're ready. They're ready for a new ride. Right now there's 5 big rides. Jungle Book because we had the Lion King show. So I don't personally think that I need double of the same IP in there. And the Lion King show is phenomenal. So I would like to see Jungle Book. I think that'd be really fun. I think the music in the Jungle Book is so good that it would be great to see as a ride. I also learned the other day that Peter used to love the Jungle Book. He always tells me like, oh, I'm not into Disney movies. But then it came up somehow, and he knows all the words to like all of the songs. I'm like, there's the guy I married. He loves the Jungle Book, so it's just so funny. Let's see. OCJ says, why don't we just make Stitch's Great Escape a house of the haunted, abandoned animatronics? That'd be fun for the kiddos. That feels very Five Nights at Freddy's. Guys. I went out last night. My brain's not working. Could you imagine Five Guys at Freddy's? It's like burgers and fries and scary animatronics. Sounds great. Let's see. Jay Bauer says, "Do you think you would ever move to Florida?" No, 0% chance. I don't desire to live down there. I love visiting. I don't want to live there. Peter definitely doesn't want to live there. My dad might be moving to the St. Petersburg area soon, which is really exciting for me. I guess I kind of talk about my family, but not really, but not for any reason. But my dad lives in Colombia. He's Dominican, but he retired and remarried and moved to Colombia, and he's been there for like 5 years now. And I think he's ready to come back to the United States. And he's looking in St. Petersburg because he loves Miami and he loves Orlando, and he wants to be between both. So I might be down there more often. Like if he does that, which is fine with me, I'm happy to spend time. But I would not want to live there. Family Guy Land coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios 2025. I don't like Family Guy. I've never liked Family Guy. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Traveling Soldier, thank you so much for... I gotta go. Hopefully this will subsidize a coffee or something. Thank you so much for the $5. That's really kind of you. That's really, really sweet. Thank you for joining. Bill P says, Disney needs to add Robin Hood to the parks. I agree. Oh my gosh. You guys know I love Robin Hood. That's my second favorite Disney movie ever. I'm so weird with my Disney movies. Like, it's like Hunchback, Robin Hood, and then it's all the classics that everyone talks about, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, you know. Robin Hood is so good. Where would that live? It's weird because it's not, yes, they're animal characters, but I don't feel like they fit in Animal Kingdom. Maybe Magic Kingdom, because they're classic. It's a classic movie. I would love to see more Robin Hood. Twixie Shore says swap Tom Sawyer for Robin Hood. That'd be so amazing. Oh, I would love that. Hero says, do you think with all these live action movies, should the rides and meet and greets be rethemed to the live action movies? Heck no. I feel like I would be so turned off by that, and I don't think I would be the only one. I think a lot of people would not be interested in that. What's interesting though is like, so in Disneyland Paris, the fireworks, bunch of different movies, and then they have a huge Beauty and the Beast section, and it's all the live action. It's the live action music. They do projections from the live action movie. Apparently, they loved it over there, and so it was really weird. It was bizarre for me to see that over there. And I was like, no, this would like never fly in America. So it's really interesting to see where they are using it. Tristan says, your thoughts on why they have raised the out-of-state annual pass $300 and it hasn't been a year. Crazy, right? Like mine doesn't expire till December. I don't know what's going to happen after that for me. Because the renewal price is now the same price I just paid for a brand new one. Like, I'm not actually saving any money on the renewal. I'm just paying the same exact price that I just paid. So crazy. I mean, I'm wondering what the thinking is, right? Is it a matter of saying, well, we have Galaxy's Edge and all these rides, and we're doing the Star Wars Hotel, though, to be fair, that's a whole other cost in and of itself. So you can't really argue that adds value to the annual pass, because my annual pass is not getting me into the Star Wars Hotel. I mean, if it is, tell me. But like, I don't know if the argument is we have more stuff, we're going to have more stuff, you know, Tron's coming, you know, Runaway Railway, whatever. Or some people have that theory of like them trying to cut out more out-of-state annual pass holders. I don't know. It's really, really interesting. OCJ says, when will the book review for Black Spire be up? I'd hope to have a chance to win the book. I am almost finished with this book. I suspect I will be done with it in the next 2 days. So I would say later this week, this upcoming week, maybe Thursday, Friday. And then to your point, and to everyone here, I always give away my physical copy of my book with the book review. Because I don't like to hold on to books. I think they should be shared and loved by everybody. So if you wanted to read the Black Spire book, when you see the review go up, I usually ask for a comment of like why you want to read it or who you would give it to, and that's it. You just gotta be a subscriber and comment, and you can have a chance to win it. Let's see. Hero says, personally, I think Blizzard Beach will be changed to the Ice Age movie series by Fox. Yeah, I've only seen the first one. How many are there? I saw the first one, and it wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do that. I still can't believe in all my years of going to Disney, I've never been to the water parks. I know, it's so weird. One of these trips, maybe this summer. Maybe this summer. Probably kidding myself, but I feel like I need to go to the water parks for sure. I'm not a good swimmer, so that's part of the reason why I haven't gone. I could probably use a couple of adult lessons just to like be better at it, and then I'd probably feel more confident going to a water park. But yeah, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. See the time. I've got about 5 more minutes, so start shooting me your questions. I love to do this at the end of my live streams where I'm like, we're doing the Q&A lightning round, but we're doing it on the live stream. So start hitting me up with questions I can answer in the next 5 minutes. Allison CC says, would you ever consider getting DVC for the member benefits? Somebody asked this a little earlier in the stream. It's just too expensive for me as someone who goes by myself. If my husband was more into Disney, maybe, and even then, I think we would wait till we had kids, and then the cost would actually make more sense. I know that they get a lot of benefits, obviously, even more so than annual pass holders, but that costs us a lot just for those benefits. I don't know if it's worth it for me. OCJ says, I have an idea for a possible Foxland, a land based on Peanuts, Charlie Brown. I know Blue Sky, which is a Fox-owned company, has the rights to make movies. That would be the cutest thing. But don't they, wait, am I wrong? Don't they use Peanuts in, isn't there like some theme park out there that uses that already? Do they not use them anymore? I'm sorry, I'm blinking, but I know that they're somewhere. Jay Bauer says, when I was looking for a job a couple of years ago, I looked at Disney. I like traveling, so I looked at the cruise line. Apparently a very stressful workplace. Thoughts on working on the cruise line? I've watched several videos of ex-cruise line employees, and I don't think that this is just a Disney thing. I think working on cruises, period, is incredibly difficult. You don't actually you're contracted, you have to constantly go on these cruises. Sounds lovely, but you don't get a lot of time on land and with family. You don't get to actually like be in a lot of the areas that guests are in, so you're not exactly like enjoying the whole ship. You're on boats where it's an enclosed space and people get sick, and that passes around a lot. So that's a risk. It definitely sounds like it's a really stressful kind of job to have. I always think like maybe doing it for a year would be cool, but I can see how it's stressful. Twixie Shore says the DVC benefits aren't guaranteed and can be changed at any time. That's the other thing, right? So you're going to spend thousands of dollars for something that might change. Peanuts or Cedar Fair. Thank you. I was like blanking. I was like, I know that they have them somewhere. Andy Ruffle says favorite LIRR station. Well, I'm not a big Long Island fan. I'm one of those people. I feel like when you grow up in the boroughs, you're like Long Island. Sorry for anyone who's from, or those people from Long Island. It is a playful hate. So I don't know. I don't really go out there much. So I couldn't really tell you. Oh, actually, probably one of the ones in Queens. Kew Gardens, because that's where I grew up. I grew up in Kew Gardens, and the LIRR does run through the Kew Gardens area. So that's my favorite one. Let's see. Blizzard Beach needs more Diablo and World of Warcraft. Amazing, Christian. I agree. If you don't get that, Blizzard's the company that owns them. Okay. I need more Diablo in my life, but that is neither here nor there, but I'm patiently waiting for Diablo 4. OCJ says, I just thought of that. I should have known. I live 2 hours from Cedar Point. Still a place I need to go, by the way. Knott's Berry Farm in California. Yes, that was the other one I think that I was thinking of. Interesting. So I wonder how they got licensed out. Tristan says, I don't know why Mission Space doesn't get that much love. I love the feeling on the Orange Mission is really the closest thing to outer space. Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it doesn't get love because unfortunately a lot of people can't physically handle it. And that makes them hate it because they're like, well, I can't ride it. And I understand that could be frustrating. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Jay Bauer says, yeah, seems worse for people working for Carnival and other non-Disney lines. Yeah, I think cruises in general are a really rough gig. So I think it's, I'm ready to just be the kindest person to all the cast members on the cruise in September because I know that it's a hard job for them. And they're really going out of their way to make everything great. Thank you so much for the $10. That's really... Guys, you don't have to do that. I never ask for like any of that here because you don't have to do that. That's really, really sweet of you. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. Get something fun on your trip in April. Sounds like so much fun is in store. Hope our paths cross again later this summer or fall. Me too. It was so fun to meet you. I got to meet Callie last time in Animal Kingdom, and she was so great to talk to. But thank you so much. Let's see, we're running out of time. 2 more minutes. Start shooting me some questions. Let's go. So yes, we're going to see, I have a few videos coming out this week. Black Spire review is going to be one of them. You're going to see a couple of other good stuff coming out too. I'm going to be on a podcast soon in a couple of weeks. When that happens, I will put that out there. That's going to be really fun. Tristan says, Peter Pan at Magic Kingdom is very overrated. I gave it a couple of chances, but it hasn't lived to raise the reviews. I would love for them to get, wait, I think you might have not, Shanghai version. Let them turn to the Shanghai version. Sorry, I came in 2 chats. Yeah, I don't really like Peter Pan. That's a whole other thing. Damien does Disney. Are you coming back to Disneyland soon? Well, considering we saw a flipping Spider-Man in the air, yeah, I want to. I'm thinking about it. I have to see how many days off I have from work because I have this time in April. I have the cruise in September. But I'm very tempted to try to come see Marvel Land, even if it's for a short, like even if I come down Friday and leave Sunday. I definitely want to see it. And if I do, I'll let you know. Jay Bauer says, I actually talked to the almighty Michael Eisner. Seems like he has cooled down after his job at Disney. Very nice guy. He does seem like a super nice guy. I follow him on Twitter. Iger, I can say, was also incredibly nice when we met him as well. So I think they probably also are gracious that people like recognize them. Well, Michael Eisner was on TV. So, but I think it's probably still kind of weird to them that like people know them well enough. Ed says, overrated Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, a weaker copy of Big Thunder. I actually love Seven Dwarfs. I thought I wasn't going to like it, but I love it. OCJ said, how did you guys meet Bob Iger? Did you just walk up to him? So the quick version of the story is he came into the cantina with some other dudes in suits. This was D23 weekend. We let him be because he went and got a drink. Didn't want to bother him, but he was coming out and passing our table, and Rob was like, "This, if we're gonna say hi to him, this is the opportunity." So we basically got out of our seats and said hi to him, and he was very, very nice. Did Bobby Iger have a fast pass to do a meet and greet? No, most people didn't know who he was. People were looking at us like, who are these people taking a photo with this old guy? Like most people have no idea what Bob Iger looks like. There were a couple of people in there who recognized him. Most people in that canteen, this was in Disneyland, did not know who he was. Ed says, just not worth the insane wait. For Seven Dwarfs, I agree. Get a fast pass, 100%. Don't wait like 2 hours for it. But it's a really, really fun ride. Tristan says, what was your best experience on a ride? Ooh. I think the first time I rode, Rise of the Resistance is up there, but we're going to throw that out because that's like just the easy answer. The first time I rode Flight of Passage, I cried. And I did not expect that because I don't really like the Avatar movie. I was like, whatever, to the whole land. And then when I got there, I was like, okay, this land's really cool. And then I rode it, and it was so beautiful and so moving, and I cried. And I think it just goes to show that it doesn't really matter what the IP is. You can still make something really great. And it also means that if an IP is really popular, it doesn't mean it's going to be great, right? Like, it goes both ways. OCJ says, how do you feel about the Twitter Epcot purists? I'm excited for new Epcot. That's all I can say. You know, you can't, complaining about changes aren't going to undo the changes. Disney's not going to go, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's just forget about all the millions of dollars we put into this. It's going to change anyway. You might as well embrace it. That's my feelings for Disney and for life. Things are going to change. You might as well embrace it. Anyway, I have to go, you guys, but this has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you guys next time. Hopefully it won't be too long between live streams. This was supposed to happen last weekend and we had no internet. That was great. But thank you so much. I appreciate all of you showing up, asking me great questions. Again, I'll be giving away the book this week, so stay tuned for that. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. And again, thank you. Thank you for hanging out.